Hi. Okay. All right, we're getting everything set up. Hello, it's Kino here. Okay, I'm back in Miami. All righty. Okay, hold on. Almost ready. Hi. There we go. Good deal. All right. We are getting set up. Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone. It's Kino here. Welcome to day 21 of the Yoga Challenge. Congratulations for making it onto 3 weeks of practice. That is no small feat. It is really, really difficult to actually decide to stick with something for 3 weeks and follow through on it. You know, we have all these new ideas like I'm going to drink water every morning, I'm going to drink more water, I'm going to be nicer to myself, I'm going to do yoga every day. But when we're thinking about actually making that a new habit pattern, to stick with it for 3 weeks is kind of, it's kind of an accomplishment. So I just want to take a moment and congratulate you. Yay! You have been one of the lucky few who have had the commitment, the devotion, the determination to stick with the challenge up until now. So I just want to thank you. This has been so great to share the challenge with you. We are not done. We still have 10 more days of all new videos, practice sessions with me, where I talk to you about the relationship between the philosophical foundations of the yoga practice and the asanas, which found the kind of basis for so much of what we practice yoga as in the contemporary world today. Remember that if you want to find the full-length practice sessions, you can pop on over to omstars.com, which is my online channel, and you can log into the challenge and you get a free month of OmStars and access to over 2,500 classes, many of which are taught by me and some of what I believe are the world's best yoga teachers. So now let's chat a little bit about what today's theme of the yoga challenge is. Today's philosophical theme is unity, unity, unity. So what does unity mean? You know, so many, like it's a pop culture term where we talk about like unifying with all things. You know, this is kind of almost the common refrain that you hear in many, kind of contemporary spiritually oriented meditations, to be unified with all things. The idea of oneness, the idea of all things are one, all things are of God, all things are love, or the idea that, I am one with all things. So this is a common understanding of unity. But if we take a look at yoga philosophy, the traditional yoga philosophy, the idea of unity that we are actually talking about is the ability of the mind to be completely unified with this object of attention. So when you're thinking about this type of unity, it's important that you work with unifying the mind with a particular chosen object of attention. And this is kind of a faculty of concentration, of unbroken concentration in yoga philosophy. When your mind is able to sustain its focus on a single point of attention, we have what's called the eka tattva state, single pointed concentration. Then after you're able to maintain single pointed concentration, you really work with it, you're focusing, you're focusing, you're focusing, you're focusing, then the mind can slip into a state of meditation. And this is kind of the path to work from dharana, which is the concentrated mind, to dhyana, the meditative mind, ultimately possibly slipping into a state of samadhi, a meditative absorption, where there is a different level of unity between the faculty of awareness, consciousness, and mind, and the object of attention. So everybody who practices yoga or meditation at some moment probably has experienced at least a few moments of unity between the mind and the object of attention. And this can be a source of liberation and a source of suffering, just as in the same way as sort of unifying with a group or affiliating yourself with a group can bring you positive and negative associations, depending on kind of what that group's teaching is about or what the foundational philosophies of that group you're maybe affiliating with are about, right? So now if we take a look at unity and what the positive and negative feelings of unity are in the yoga world, we have to take a look at some kind of complex yoga philosophy. So at the sort of epistemological level of what yoga takes to be as the basis of knowledge. It's rooted in the Indian philosophical system called Samkhya. Samkhya is what's known as a dualistic philosophy. So there's a dualism, duality. There are two separate entities, one of which is called Purusha, translated kind of roughly into English as spirit, the unmanifest, the immovable, the uncreated, the unborn, the eternal, the noumenal, the singular. And then we have Prakriti, which is the phenomenal, it has been born, therefore also dies. It arises, it passes, it is temporary. So these are two different kind of qualities. And this dualism is very much at the heart of what yoga is working with. Now, traditional yoga philosophy says that one of the biggest sources of suffering is called avidya, or ignorance. And what the root ignorance is the conflation of the eternal with the temporal. So in other words, when you think something is eternal, but that something is actually only temporary, then that conflation is a source of suffering. Falsely unifying that which is eternal, that which is temporary, this false identification, this false unification, according to yoga philosophy, is actually a source of suffering. Because when the impermanent tries to become permanent, it fights a losing battle. So when the temporary manifestations of being, like my body, your body, this beautiful earth that we're on right now, when we try to make it permanent, we fight against sort of the true nature of what's called prakriti, or manifestation. And this is the source of much suffering. And the root ignorance, or the mula klesha, the root obstacle of avidya, ignorance, the wrong identification of that which is permanent as that which is impermanent, that which is impermanent as that which is permanent. So unity in the yoga world isn't necessarily about unifying with all that is, but yes, that's a function of it. The traditional yoga philosophy, again, is stemming from this sort of dualistic understanding that what we're actually trying to do is decipher what's what. Being able to tell what is true from what is untrue, being able to really clearly delineate between, what is eternality versus what is temporality, what is the essence of the spirit versus what is the essence of matter, and then be able to really feel that. So if we dive even a little bit deeper into that, then after the period of the yoga philosophy in India, then there's another kind of branch of orthodox Indian philosophy called Advaita Vedanta. And I'm no expert really at any of this, but I am, a 20-year yoga practitioner. So whatever I share is rooted from my experience, and also from, the teachings that I've received on many trips to India to my teachers, which I'm eternally grateful towards. Now, if we take a look at Advaita Vedanta, we have the foundation of non-dualism. The non-dualism. And many people misunderstand what the foundational teaching of Advaita Vedanta is. So people casually take this to mean, all is one, therefore nothing matters. Let's not get angry, all is one, let's just be at peace, no bad vibes kind of thing. Now, if we dig a little bit deeper, what is actually unified with what in the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta? So we got to dive into this. All right. So what every spiritual seeker is seeking to do is find out the true nature of reality. In Advaita Vedanta, when the spiritual seeker looks within, they discover that the true nature of themselves, this is called, you could say, self-realization, or the actualization of the true nature of being, is revealed. And this is the soul or the spirit, the realization on the level of Atman, which is the level of pure spirit within, said to be contained within every sentient being, the spark of divinity, every living thing containing that seed of what you could call divinity. Then Advaita Vedanta says that the unity, the non-duality, exists at the level of fundamental beingness. So that all things at their fundamental level of beingness, at the level of Atman, the level of the individual soul, is intimately unified and connected, never separated from the divine soul. This is not saying you are God. This is saying you are essentially made of the same substance of God, which I think is pretty cool. Now, when we think about that, that unity means that you can never lose your connection to the eternal realm of the spirit. There's nothing you can ever do that can permanently separate you from that which you are at your fundamental level. At the same time, the proponents of Advaita Vedanta similarly acknowledge that to function in the world, there is necessary dualism. For example, to function as a body in the world of Prakriti, we have boundaries. We have to put clothes on the body. The body must be fed. We, casually and colloquially use words like I, mine, you, yours, even though at the fundamental level of beingness, there is no division and there is no separation. That anyhow, we are still using terms which allow us to operate in the realm of Prakriti, the realm of division, the realm of manifestation. However, again, the spiritual seeker is diving down into the deepest nature of reality in finding that deep, deep sense of unity, that deep sense of sameness, you could say. And another way that I like to think of it is that, in the world of Prakriti, we are not equal. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. Like, we're not all the same in the material world. I'm relatively small. If you ever meet me, I'm just a little over 5 feet tall. I'm not that tall. So there are other people who are tall, for example. And to try to say that, like, we're the same height, that we're, like, the same is a complete denial of the bare bones of reality. Similarly, like, a cow is a cow, and a pig is a pig. They're both animals, but they're clearly different, right? And when we fail to acknowledge or see the differences in Prakriti and claim kind of the universal truth of beingness, then we actually have very little fidelity to the reality of either, meaning that we're not true to either the vast potential of what connecting in with beingness is really about, and we're neither true to the realities of sort of holding the body and living in the body in the world of Prakriti. So the spiritual seeker is seeking to do what with unity? Number one, to unify the mind with the chosen object of attention. This is the Ekatattva state, this deep states of concentration. Number two, if you go to a very deep level in this philosophy known as Advait Vedanta, which is distinct from Yoga Sutra philosophy, then you can find a sameness at the fundamental level of beingness within all things. All things. And then lastly, as sort of a practical note, when your mind is at peace, one of the things that comes into alignment is your body, your mind, and your spirit all in unity. And this is kind of the moments when you feel the most at peace and you feel kind of comfortable in your own skin, then you are in unity with yourself. And these are kind of 3 levels of unity that you can think about as you begin to practice yoga and take those lessons off of the mat into your everyday life. So let's end today's session with a few moments of mindfulness, so a little short meditation. If you'll come to a comfortable seated position, close your eyes. Bring the attention now to the heart center behind the sternum and feel your breath moving in and out through the heart. Naturally, the lungs inflate and deflate, so naturally there'll be some movement at the chest. Just keep your mind focused there for a few breaths. And if the mind gets distracted, just bring your attention back to the embodied feeling at the level of the heart. Practicing this first level of unity, letting the mind be unified with the object of attention so that you begin to feel the breath as it is, in the heart, in the chest. And then, if the mind is able to maintain its point of focus at the heart, perhaps you can slip into an almost trance-like state where mind, body, and soul all come into unity, and you feel totally present, here, in this moment, in the now, with no root in the past, no hankering to the future, just completely unified in this moment between body, mind, and soul. Completely unified in your attention so that the mind is steadfastly focused on the breath. Perhaps, if this state of meditative unity is extended, you might get a glimpse of the true nature of being. That spark of pure divine light, which is your true nature. And if you're able to recognize that spark of divinity within yourself, then you understand that that is the inherent root of your worthiness of love, success, peace, and happiness. And that same worthiness sits in all beings. And there, through your connection to the eternal divine, is your unity with all things and all beings. Allow yourself a deeper breath. And as you exhale, open the eyes. So connection, training the mind, takes practice, just like anything else. So if you remember, if you practice, it gets better. I wasn't naturally calm or didn't find it easy to meditate or even to do yoga when I first started. But I guarantee you, if you start today, you're going to feel a little bit happier, more peaceful, more filled with love as you keep practicing. Can't promise you that you'll do all the yoga poses, but you never really need to. And people think yoga is about the poses. The poses are a tool. Just like, it's really good to have good tools, but it's usually not about the tool. For example, if you're trying to paint your house, it's really good to have a good paintbrush, but it's really not about the paintbrush. It's about, getting the house painted. And the yoga poses are tools just like a good paintbrush. Remember what you're actually here to accomplish. That deep power of concentration to tap into the universal and true nature of being. It may seem like a lofty goal, but it's really, I think, what we're all here to experience. We're not here just to buy stuff and, look pretty, right? We're really here to embark on a true adventure of the human spirit. Otherwise, what does it all mean? That's why I started the spiritual path anyway. I hope you feel a little inspired to practice and go on that true spiritual journey within yourself. And remember, of course, you want to do some fun yoga asanas with me. Full-length practices are available on omstars.com, and I would love it if you check it out. I mean, I love OmStars. It's my baby. It's my creation, and I think it's awesome, and I hope you do too. We have 10 more days left on the challenge. You can jump in at any time. So if you're just listening to me now, it's the first you hear about the challenge, it's all good. You can start at any time. You can even jump in and just start on day 21 if you want, or you can go all the way back to day 1 and do it at your own pace. No worries. You can even repeat each day of the challenge over and over again. I really designed each video not to be like one and done, but to be kind of like a practice companion, a friend, to be with you on each step of the journey. I just want you to practice, because I believe that when people practice yoga, then the world gets to be a little bit happier, more peaceful place. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm going to sign off for now, and I'll be back tomorrow. Not sure around what time. Maybe around this time. Maybe a little earlier. Not sure. But I'll be back again tomorrow, so be sure to tune in for tomorrow's video, both in the practice and also here on this platform as well. Okay, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. Namaste.